It was a combination of me going out raving pretty much every night, waking up early for lectures, and yes, I did wake up for those lectures. I even had 8 a.m. lectures that I would attend to, like on time after being out raving all night. Then napping in the day, also working at that time as well. All that in combination, staying up late with my flatmates in the kitchen until the sun comes up. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is Taj, aka MahTaj Massage, and this is MahTaj Midas Living. I hope you're all good, I hope you're all blessed, and as the title suggests, this video is going to be delving into what the importance of sleep is and certain things that I do and things that I've started to implement in my own life that I've found to help with my own sleeping, because I have had issues with sleeping for the longest time. I hope you find this video useful, and as always, if we vibe, join the tribe and make sure that you like and subscribe. Thank you. I thought this would be a useful topic because no matter who you are, we all need sleep. Whether you are a baby, toddler, teenager, my age, pensioner, whatever, we all need to sleep so that we can function properly. And the better sleep that we have, the better developed we can become, because sleeping helps us to heal our body. Sleeping also helps us with our physical development, mental health, our immune system. It can do so many different things for us. So I think this is an important topic that I need to delve into. I don't really remember what my sleeping patterns were like when I was younger, like say primary school, secondary school. I assume that I had a normal amount of sleep every day because I was in a routine in those times. And then it kind of started to go downhill for me when I was at college. I'd stay up quite late, be on the phone to my friends till late, and then get up for college the next day, those kind of things. But even then it wasn't at its worst. It really went downhill for me when I went to uni. Literally, what sleeping pattern, basically. Anyone that's done the whole uni life, staying on campus, all of that, probably can relate to where I'm coming from in regards to it ruining your sleeping pattern completely. It was a combination of me going out raving pretty much every night, waking up early for lectures, and yes, I did wake up for those lectures. I even had 8 a.m. lectures that I would attend to, like on time after being out raving all night. Then napping in the day, also working at that time as well. All that in combination, staying up late with my flatmates in the kitchen until the sun comes up, realizing that it's like 7 in the morning and I've got a lecture at 8. So it's literally, okay, there's no point in sleeping. Let me shower and go to my lecture and I'll nap later. And doing that consistently for 3 years is gonna fuck up your sleeping pattern. It just is what it is. Honestly, the things I used to put my body through those times, if I did that now at my big age, I'd probably die or get seriously ill, because yeah, youth was definitely on my side. I remember one week where I think it was the school holidays, but I was still at uni and there were raves every single day, and I used to do childcare. And so what I used to do is I'd work full time whenever it was the holidays, 8:30 till 6, working with kids. And the kids I used to work with were unruly. So you need to be like on 100 to keep an eye on all these kids. And I remember going raving every single day of this particular week, but it happened to be half term. And I was working 8:30 till 6 every single day. So I'd go raving, then drive back up to uni, then get ready for the rave, go out to the rave, come back at 3-4 in the morning, sleep for a little bit, wake up again to get to work for 8:30, do 8:30 till 6. And oh my gosh, I remember there was one day in particular in that week of doing this and I was finished, like absolutely finished. So it must have been like the Thursday now. So bear in mind, this particular week I've been raving since the Saturday. So I've raved Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's now Thursday and there's a rave on Thursday. And I think we was even going off ends. So we was going like out of London for this particular rave. So Get to work Thursday morning, I'm finished because I've gone raving the night before. And I remember that particular day I was in charge of doing cooking with the kids. So you get a small group, do your cooking activity, send them off, bring the next group in, do the cooking activity. And I remember being so out of it. I was drinking like, not Red Bull, but like the Sainsbury's version, like Bolt or one of them things, because I just could not survive. And then they'd send one group in, I'd do the cooking activity with them, and they were like, then a staff member would be like, oh, send in the next group. And I'd be like, no, can you wait? Can you please wait? Just give me like 5 minutes. I remember being crashed out in the kitchen, just like this, like, I'm like, I can't take this. I can't take it. And then I'd be like, okay, send the next group in. And then finish that shift, finish work at 6, drive all the way back to uni again, and still went out. I'm pretty sure by the end of that week, I got the flu because I just ran my body out. Oh, and I weren't just raving, I was drinking as well. So yeah, the thought of that now makes me feel physically sick. So I probably slept for a combination of 8 to 12 hours for that whole week. Finished. But yeah, even after uni and I came back home and stuff, my sleeping patterns were still terrible. But then, to be fair, I'd created this lack of routine for 3 years, or more than 3 years, because it kind of stemmed from college. So for a good 5 to 6 years, I weren't sleeping the greatest. And then this was now my body clock of pretty much not having a body clock. And I had to sort it out because I need sleep. Something else that also contributed to me not sleeping that great was anxiety and overthinking and certain things I was going through at the time of uni as well, particularly in my last year. So anxiety, overthinking, trying to sleep the nights when you are trying to get to bed at a decent time, it was just not happening. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand and talking about the importance of sleep and the benefits of good sleep, etc. And when I say good sleep, I don't mean the amount of sleep you get. I mean the quality of sleep that you get. So quality over quantity. So everyone probably knows that we're supposed to have 8 hours of sleep a night and all of that stuff, and that will kind of keep your body going. But everyone's bodies are different. I know some people who only need to sleep for 4 hours and they are fully functioning and okay because that is okay for them. I probably need, depending on my diet as well, as long as I get a solid 6 hours, I'm normally all right. But if I get 6 to 7 hours, I'm pretty good. I don't normally need the full 8 hours. Some people need more than that. Some people need 10 hours. So everyone's different, but it's about the quality of that sleep that you get. Also, a side note, the time of day that you stop eating can also have an effect on the amount of sleep that you need. So for example, the closer you eat to your bedtime means that your body hasn't had time to digest it while you're still awake, so that when you do end up going to bed, I've just noticed I'm sitting in front of my bed as well. I didn't even do that on purpose, but anyways, yeah, so when you eat closer to your bedtime, that means your body then has to focus on digesting when you actually go to sleep. So your body is working itself, whereas when you're sleeping, what your body's meant to do is your body just rests, and then what your immune system and things does is it heals anything within your body. But then if your body is now spending time on digesting food, it needs more time in addition to that to do the healing. So you end up wanting to sleep for longer, or when your alarm goes off, you feel like crap because your body hasn't gone through the processes that it needs to go to, and that's your actual reason for sleeping. And one thing that confirmed this for me is every time that I have done a water fast or a fruit fast, I sleep way less than normal and I feel so energized. And that's because my body doesn't need to digest anything, because I've just been drinking water all day. My body can just focus on healing, and because there is no food to process, it needs less time, and then that small amount of sleep is sufficient enough for my body to have been rested and go through all those processes to heal it and be re-energized, rejuvenated, all that stuff. Got a little bit sidetracked again, but it was still relevant. So now I want to go into the actual benefits of good sleep. So for this, I did make some notes because I didn't want to mess anything up or miss anything out. All right. And I also reference all of these in the description box in case anyone's interested, in case they want to know where I got this information from. One of the main benefits of having a good amount and good quality of sleep is actually having healthy brain function and emotional well-being. So what I've written down is: the brain prepares for the next day while you sleep and forms new neurological pathways to help you learn and retain information. And for this one, you've probably noticed on days where you've not slept very well, you tend to forget things quite a lot. Problem solving isn't as easy because your brain hasn't had that chance to rest and make those new neurological pathways. So in regards to that, I mean the things that you've learned in that day, because even without realizing it, we learn something new every day, and your brain processes all this information while you are sleeping. And the next thing I've got in regards to that is: the better you sleep, the more likely you are to be in a good mood and have better mental health. We all know that. Waking up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning, being a grump when you've not had enough sleep, we've all been there. And this is the reason why, because we haven't rested, and then we're forcing ourselves to get up and we're going against what our body naturally needs. Your body needs to sleep more, but you're saying, no, I need to get up, I have to go work, I have to do this, and it affects your mood. And other things that can come into play with your emotions is things can trigger you a lot more easily when you are tired and you haven't slept properly. I know there's been times in my life where I've been tired and something has upset me to the point of tears, whereas on a normal day it wouldn't. And I'm just like, I don't know why I'm crying, what's wrong with me? And you're like, Taj, you haven't slept properly. And you're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. So those are the first benefits in regards to our brain and emotional well-being. The next thing that I want to look at now are the physical benefits of having good quality sleep. So I've written down: the heart and blood vessels are healed and repaired while sleeping, and prolonged sleep deficiency can increase the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and even obesity. There you go. So sleep also has an effect on our physical health. Another note that I made is: sleep maintains the balance of hormones and aids in maintaining our immune system. So if you are being deprived of sleep over a long period of time, it can affect things like your immune system. It can affect your metabolism and how you're digesting food. So if you're not digesting food properly, or it's slowing down your metabolism, then that can lead to obesity, as the note said, because your body isn't working efficiently to burn fats and to metabolize the food that you are eating. Some other major factors in regards to the benefits of sleeping are the way it affects your daytime routines and habits, and also your general day-to-day safety. So it aids with day-to-day functioning such as productivity and reaction times and accuracy. Lack of sleep can also cause you to be a danger to yourself and others, such as falling asleep at the wheel, and this is called micro sleeping. And I've had stories of loads of friends that have fallen asleep at the wheel because they are so tired. Thankfully, they are all okay. They didn't hurt anyone and they didn't hurt themselves, at least not too badly when they were injured in these scenarios, because you don't even realize you do it. Think about certain times you're up late and you're really, really tired. You're watching a film or a TV program or something, and then that advert might come on. If it's a film that's on the TV and there's adverts, this is just an example, and an advert comes on and you're like, okay, let me just close my eyes for the advert, and then you're like, the next thing you wake up, the film's finished, or it's the next program, or it's the credits. I've definitely done that loads of time, and you don't even know how you fell asleep. You feel like you just blinked, but an hour could have gone easily. And that's what micro sleeping is like. You don't even know when it's happened. It just takes over your body. And when you're in scenarios such as driving or operating heavy machinery and all of those things there, that makes you a danger to yourself and the public. So you need to sleep properly. That's why people that do driving jobs, especially like lorry drivers and stuff, they have to keep taking breaks to sleep, because it's so important for everyone's safety. And back to the day-to-day performance in regards to not being able to sleep properly. Again, with your reaction times, that can be dangerous when doing something like driving or whatever job it is that you're doing, because if your reaction times are slower, if there are dangerous scenarios that you're in, or potentially dangerous scenarios that you're in, you're actually making those scenarios more harmful than they were in the first place, because your reaction time is slower. So it is pretty dangerous to do things like that. So sleep is so important in regards to just the day-to-day running of how we operate as people. Lack of sleep can also make us less accurate in the things that we do. So our decision making can be inhibited, and the accuracy of the work that we're doing can be inhibited. So in regards to being a fully functioning person, we need to have good quality sleep. So all this shows that sleep deprivation can inhibit and endanger us in our lives and make us not a fully functioning person. It can reduce our immune system. It can make us physically less likely to be able to function properly. No. So the general consensus is sleep deprivation has a negative impact on us physically, mentally, and emotionally. As I mentioned earlier, the amount of sleep that everyone needs varies from person to person, and it can be dependent on so many different factors. And another thing that comes into play is our age. And on average, at certain stages in your life, you require different amounts of sleep. So for example, I've got some notes here. Between the ages of 0 and 17 years of age, our need for sleep can go from 14 to 17 hours. And as you get older, it reduces all the way down from 8 to 10 hours. And this kind of made me think of things like when you are a teenager or at school age, and you go to bed at a pretty decent time, and then your parents wake you up in the morning and you're just struggling to get up because you are exhausted, and your parents are calling you lazy and all of those kind of things there. But it's actually because you're still growing, your body needs more sleep. And it just made me think of all the times when I'm like, get out of bed, it's time to get up, no lions, da 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 da. And all this time, I actually needed more sleep. I actually needed more sleep. I wasn't being a lazy teenager, and none of us were being lazy teenagers. We actually needed to sleep more because our bodies are still growing, our brains are still functioning like babies that always have naps. They have to have that because it is helping them to grow and develop physically, emotionally, and all of that stuff there. So some people, if you're reading this and you have children, particularly if they're teenager ages and they're sleeping in and stuff, this is actually scientifically proven that at certain stages in our life we do need more sleep because we need to develop and grow. So now I want to go into the things that I've implemented into my own life to help improve my sleep, because I would say it's only the last, let's say, year to 2 years that my sleep has got a lot better, but it still wasn't the greatest. So up until about probably 4 months or so ago, I was still struggling in regards to being able to fall asleep when I get into bed. So I would get into bed and I would just be awake for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and just not be able to sleep. And I was like, there must be something I can do to make myself be able to be ready for bed. So I've now implemented kind of like a routine, and I swear to you now, I will pretty much most nights fall asleep within half an hour of getting into bed, and I feel so much better for it. And hopefully you might find these tips useful. And also, if you have any tips that you've implemented into your own routine, put them in the comments below, because I'm always here to learn, and I want to learn from you as well as you guys learning from me. So with my routine, what I have aimed to do is physically prepare my body so that it's ready for sleep, and also to mentally prepare myself so that my body knows, okay, when I'm doing X, Y, Z, that means it's time to start unwinding. It's time to get ready to sleep. One thing that I've started doing is trying to reduce my screen time before I go to sleep, even if it's only half an hour before going to bed. So I tend to be on screen a lot, whether I'm watching the TV, on my computer, on my phone. All of us have been there, and the way the world is now, it's just technology everywhere. We tend to always be looking at our screens, and the blue light that these screens emit confuses our brain to think that it's still daylight outside, and that's why we can tend to struggle to fall asleep straight away. So reducing that screen time is one thing that has definitely helped me to be able to differentiate between it's awake time, time to do work, and it's time to sleep. This isn't always possible, as a lot of us like to fall asleep watching the TV because you don't like being in silence and things like that. But one thing I've done if I am watching TV before bed is I have blue light filter glasses. They're super cheap. I think they're about £3 off eBay. And what they do is they help to stop the blue light going into your eyes when you're looking at the screen. So it helps your brain know that it's nighttime. And I've had these glasses now for, I don't even know, maybe like 6 months. And I have noticed the difference that my eyes don't get as tired when I'm looking at screens. Although it's still not good to look at the screens continually, but sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. So if I am on the screen a lot, I will put these glasses on in the nighttime, and I have noticed that the eye strain doesn't feel as bad, and I don't feel as wide awake when it is time for me to go to sleep. Also, phones and computers tend to have a blue light filter option on them where you can set it so that when the sun goes down, the blue light comes off or the filter goes on and things like that. I've set my phone to do that, as well as me wearing those glasses as well. And all those little things do honestly make a difference. Something else that I do majority of nights as well is I will play some sort of meditation, usually off YouTube, on my TV. But what I do is, so that I'm not looking at the screen, is that I will put the meditation on, put my TV on timer so it turns off at the end of the meditation, and I also put my screen on eco mode so that the screen goes off so I can just hear the sound of the meditation, because I'm not looking at the screen anyways. That's also really helpful too. Another thing that I do when I'm having my bedtime routine is when I've shut all my screens off, etc., unless I've got my TV on ready to do my meditation, but even still, it will either be on or off, I will go and put my pajamas on, wash my face, brush my teeth, that kind of stuff. And I kind of do that within that half an hour space before bed, so that my body's like, yep, this is what I do before I go to sleep. The next thing that I will do after I have brushed my teeth is I will write in my gratitude journal. I've been writing in this now since about September, and even though it's not specifically for my bedtime routine, I like to think of all the things that I've done in the day that I'm grateful for before I go to sleep, so that I'm in a positive frame of mind when I'm going to bed. So even if the day hasn't been the greatest, I know that the last things I'm thinking of are something positive, so that I'm not thinking about anything negative that's happened in the day and carry that into my sleep. About 10 minutes or so before I go to bed as well, I started, probably back in November times, I started using lavender pillow spray. So I read that it was pretty good in regards to helping you fall asleep more quickly, and that was the thing that I was struggling with, because I kind of had a routine, but I would still just be awake at night and not be able to fall asleep. And I swear this is a absolute game changer. It smells nice anyways, but it just kind of makes you feel more relaxed. I love lavender anyways. I will diffuse it in my room. I've got actual fresh lavender around my flat as well, but I wanted it to be used when I actually go to bed. So I thought, let's just give this a try, and I would recommend this spray to everyone. So I literally just spray on my pillow, leave it, I'm still getting ready for bed. And then when you get into bed, you can smell it. It smells really nice. I think the one I've got has got lavender and chamomile in it. So chamomile is also a flower that can help you to fall asleep more easily too. And honestly, before I started adding this into my routine, I was still struggling to fall asleep quickly. But pretty much since I started using this spray in my routine as well, pretty much every night, 30 minutes I'm asleep. And for some people that might still be long, but for me that is honestly so quick for me. Like, it's a miracle for me, honestly. One other thing that I do in my bedtime routine, and this isn't every night, this is just sometimes, I tend to hold my stress in my shoulders to the point where it feels like my shoulders are at my ears like this. So trying to fall asleep like that isn't nice. And if you feel like that when you go sleep, more often than not you'll wake up and your shoulders will still be up here and they'll still be tight. So what I like to do is try and eradicate that before I have gone to bed. So I've got like a magnesium spray, and sometimes when your magnesium levels are low it can inhibit your sleep. Also, sorry about the noise outside, someone is revving ridiculously. Hopefully they'll stop soon. All right, come on. All right, they're gone now. But yeah, back to the magnesium spray. And what I will do is I'll spray it into my hands and I will massage it into my traps, like really massage them, and then any other leftovers I'll like rub into my feet, my calves, so anywhere I might have some muscle tension. And it kind of just helps the body relax and get into that zen mode, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready to sleep now. Something else that I use when I'm going to sleep is one of those eye masks to block out the light. You don't have to use one of these. If you have blackout curtains, perfect, because it gets rid of all the light that can distract you while you're sleeping. So for example, I go to sleep with a Himalayan salt lamp on, and I only live in a studio flat, so the light is pretty bright. And I do feel it inhibiting me being able to fall asleep. So, but I still want to be able to use the healing properties of having the lamp on. So having that eye mask on helps me to know that it is nighttime and it is time to sleep, and tricks my brain into knowing that it is nighttime. But as I mentioned, blackout curtains can do the same. Wearing an eye mask, or if your room is already dark, then it's perfect for you. And this is because a disturbance of light can disrupt your sleep cycle. So again, like with having the blue lights on the screen, it disrupts your circadian rhythm because your brain thinks that it is daylight and it's not time to sleep. So just implementing these little things, you can override what your body is interpreting from your environment. Something else that is a game changer for me is having my phone nowhere near my bed. Like nowhere near my bed. My phone is literally across the room. And that way there is no temptation to, oh, let me just check this message. Oh, let me just look at something on Instagram. Oh, let me just whatever. And you end up looking at the screen, and then you're not tired anymore, and your sleeping pattern's ruined. Or the next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and you've been looking at Instagram. And you're like, I need to get up in a few hours. So yeah, just taking out of your space is honestly so helpful. Like, that has helped me so much. And the way I see it, if something bad is going to happen, because I know people are like, oh, I need it near me, or I need it on loud in case there's an emergency, but if you're fast asleep anyways, whether your phone's on loud or not, if you're in a deep sleep, you may not hear your phone anyways, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You need to rest. You shouldn't even be thinking about, oh, what if there's an emergency? You should just be resting, because otherwise that's in the back of your mind and disturbing your sleep anyways. So time to rest is time to rest. And I have battled with that a lot, but now I'm like, there's nothing you can do anyways. If you're sleeping, you're sleeping, and there's nothing you can do, and you have to deal with it when you've woken up the next day. A final thing that isn't quite part of my sleep routine, but is something that I have there just in case it's needed, is a notebook by my bed with a pen. And that is because sometimes you might have things on your mind or ideas come to your head whatever it is, this can be before you're falling asleep, it can be during your sleep, or you might have a dream and you wake up and you need to write something down. Having that notebook can help you get all of this information out, but you don't have to get out of your bed. So for example, if you're overthinking about something, like particularly something negative, that's going to stop you from wanting to sleep. And then when you go to sleep, because you're thinking about it before you've fallen asleep, your brain is still processing all that information, those negative thought patterns over and over again while you're sleeping. And then you wake up and your shoulders are up here and you're like, why? But I've gone to sleep. It's because your brain is still thinking about it, even if you're not consciously aware. Sorry about that. Motorbike's going past. But yeah, if you're not consciously aware of it, it doesn't mean it's not going on. So what you can do is physically write those thoughts, whatever it is that's on your mind, write all those things down so that it's left your brain. Even though it's still in your brain, what it does is it almost creates, I'm trying to think of the words. It's almost like it's removing it from your brain and putting it on the paper so that you don't have to think about it anymore. It's like that physical action of transferring that information somewhere else, and then you can just get back to sleep. Or if you have a random idea about something that you don't want to forget, you just write it down. You can come back to it in the morning, so you're not thinking, I need to remember this, and you can just focus on getting yourself to sleep. So that's just one extra thing that I wanted to make a note of, because sometimes I have weird dreams and I feel like there's a message in that dream, but if I go back to sleep and wake up, I don't remember what it is. So I'll write it down, make some quick notes, and then just go back to sleep again and come back and deal with it at a later stage without it disrupting my sleep. That's it for this video on the benefits of sleeping, the importance of sleeping, and the things that you can implement into your life to improve the quality of your sleep. I hope you have found it useful. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.